The next part is, before I go further, is to remount the holes or chamfer them. Now I could use this normal hand chamfer, but it's a bugger on the thumb and it spins too slow and it does tend to tear out. I could also load this one into the drill and spin that around. However, I'm not guaranteed a perfect 90-degree shot, so what I will do is go to the hassle, let's do it properly anyway, pull out my put that aside, pull out my jig. Now let's see whether that'll go through. Oops, wrong one. No, it won't go through there, so I'll have to move this to the outside, and then I'll mount that into here, put the drill on and see what happens. The trials and tribulations of a perfectionist. Having set it up, and I did a test cut on the previous, and I say previous on the flip side, I tried this little unit, but it turned out it wasn't, because of the backing board, it didn't go down far enough. Over the edge it was doable, however it did leave this rim around the edge which I might actually sand off or tidy up later with a some sort of a file. I found that in the test cut this Beal reamer was the ideal way to go. I put this outrigger on this stop drill guide only because I moved it to the outside. Because of the weight, it's easier to keep it perpendicular by holding down on there. I can put that in the hole and then drill down like so. It only puts a small chamfer on it, but what I did was worked out the chamfer with this, put a piece of thickish paper, pardon me, between the depth stop and the guard and went down there. So that would have loaded by about 1/2 mil. So this is going to be recessed probably by 1/2 mil down more so than elsewhere. But on this board I really don't mind. In fact, I might even prefer it that way. So it's just a case of going through and doing all the holes. As you can see, it's certainly, whoa, good, I'm going to do some damage here in a minute, knocking everything over. And I took the spring out as well, so it'll have no resistance. Hey, less work for me, I don't mind. Oh shit, that went down a long way. I didn't expect that. As I say, for these things, I don't mind. I don't mind if they're a little bit lower, because that's going to guarantee that any dog with that, hang on, that's done now, I can move that out of the way if I can find somewhere to put it. Any dog with that little lip will go down, definitely, at least it'll be under the surface. And holy shit, this bloody pine dents easy. I don't mind pine. Actually, while I'm at it, I might as well finish off the back side. Not needed, but it is actually neater that way. And It's not like it's going to take hours. I do recommend, for all it's worth, this Beal countersink. I've bought, in all fairness, many countersinks, quite expensive, and that's the one that is now my go-to. In fact, I had two of them, I misplaced one of them, couldn't find it, I searched like crazy for it, and I thought, bugger it, I'll order another one from Beal, and I thought, well, while I'm there I might as well order a few more just in case somebody might want it. I ordered 3, and when I got it home I somehow looked at one of my drills and it was permanently put into the drill rather than my drill press. Anyway, that's not the point, that's not what we're here. Okay, ready to drill those dodgy holes that didn't want to come up with this current configuration. And as I said, I don't particularly want to move this jig around unless I have to. Now, if you have a look, you'll notice that, hang on, I'll go this way. If I line that drill bit up with that 4mm hole, 3mm hole, we've got the already pre-drilled holes here, which isn't going to be much good. So what I do is put these little doovies on in there, put the drill bit in just for the sake of the video, and you'll notice that these little pinholes now line up with that. Putting that down there, bringing it around so I can now work at it. These pins, and one has rolled under the bloody table, which I've got to go and get now, fits in, as you can see, perfectly. This is the thing I love about this system, is when you start pushing in pins, the only resistance you might get is it binding on the side of the timber, but it just lines up perfectly with the hole every time. So, let's clamp this down, attach the back. Oh God, it's so bloody hard for this old man to bend over. Anyway, the other thing I've got to work on, being this sort of like, this is actually a Centrotech normal drill chuck hybrid. It's one of those weird ones. If I don't seat it correctly in this Centrotech chuck, I should just not use a normal chuck, but that makes it too long. It binds. I've just got to make sure it goes all the way down. That's it. And then I'm right. But sometimes if it goes halfway down and I start drilling, it actually binds and it's a bugger to remove. And only because Festool is so precisionally made, you've got no wiggle room to manipulate it. Anyway, here we go. Off, pull that out, and voila, we've got the perfectly centered hole. Now for this one here, what's the best way to do it? Again, for this particular hole here, no, this one here I can probably still do with, which I can. Actually, I don't know why I haven't done it. I should have done it beforehand. I thought I did. I can do it with just the normal straight pin configurations. So I'm not going to show you that because you've seen that done before. But for this other side where I have done the holes before, to do this, again we find that we've got 2 holes lined up. And the chances are if I come this side, we've again got two holes lined up. Look, I'll go this side now. But these go in. Now there is other ways. Sometimes, for all it's worth, I'll just show you this though. Sometimes you find that you finish up in a configuration whereby, let's just say you wanted to drill a hole halfway through, and you wanted to, in particular, drill through, mount that, where naturally you haven't got this pinhole. You've got that going in down there isn't going to do your diddly squat. But what the Parf system comes with are these special dogs that actually fit in the hole, and this jig fits over that dog like that. And with this one here, well, there's bugger all you can do other than you have to drill that out to be able to make use of it, because you can't put that in there. That's no good to you. I think, and they don't have, it'd be nice if they just had a dog that fits in there and a pin, but they don't. So I hope I haven't totally confused you. If I have, I'm sorry, I do apologise, but let's go this way. That, if I line this up, then I've got an idea of what has to be where. That, there, that in there, oops. And I've got to virtually do this on that corner, that corner, that corner. That one, I don't know, actually the normal configuration should do that. I should have done that as well. But let's go with these. Now, these little units that I showed you, these things here, they don't come with the kit, unfortunately. They're an additional add-on. And the reason why I bought this is you don't need them. What you need to do is move the jig and use these units, and then move this drill bit from that guide there to the other one, to the other spot. To me, that's mucking around. I'd rather spend a few extra shekels, buy these, anchor them using these, then move that to that, and then one day you've got to move them back again if that's all you're going to use. So there you have it. Be warned, if you want to buy or go down the line of this UJK Parf system, you do need those extra units. And I do recommend this gets clamped down again with this. That goes in there. Make sure this is properly. So sometimes it goes straight down, sometimes it's just a pain to line up. Come on. There we go. That on. I might actually put that this thing back on, because that is, to me, is just becoming an issue. I think I had this on the first time when I was doing it, but I'll leave that on now. That comes out, that comes out, put that aside. And as I said, for this one here that hadn't been done, oh yeah, actually you will have to use, sorry, I tell a lie. Why didn't I? Oh, I should have done this before I did these holes, or whatever. Anyway, looks like I do have to use, no, this is the one I didn't have to do. Anyway, look, I think you've got the idea of what has to be done to drill the holes. Once I've done that, I'll come back to you again. While I've still got your attention, at least on this stage, I do recommend actually using 2 clamps instead of the one that I used before. It does make it a little bit easier. Look, it's another clamp you've got to put on, take off, but I do recommend, if you're looking for druthers and recommendations, that you use 2 clamps. I really think the whole sorry, I'm getting back to this. I'm having this bloody bit of a paranoid experience about these bloody Centrotech chucks, which I very seldom use on the Festool drill. It's just that these Parf systems have got this particular, or it came with this particular hybrid. It seems like a hybrid chuck, and it's as though the Festool doesn't like to use it, or I don't know how to use it properly, but it does seem to get jammed. You've got to make sure. It's as though, as I said, it's a hybrid, and somehow it's get jammed. If I don't seat it properly, and it has to be seated, there you are. This is where I normally get caught out. I seat it like that. It doesn't come out, but it's not seated properly, and then when I turn it on, it actually, there, it's got to go down that much further. Yeah, so when I turn it on, as I said, it locks with some of these, and I think, oh, it's seated, but it's not, and it doesn't seat that easily because of its hybrid nature. There you are. When it's fully in, it comes off no problem. But then when you turn it, with the torque required, it just does jam. And I make a fool of myself so many times. And of course I only do it during videos that I'm recording. Alright, anyway, I'm now going to get off that. I've got 2 more holes to drill, and then we can go on with the next step. Or actually, it's now nearly 6 o'clock. I can go and watch the news and have tea and have a vino and come back to this tomorrow. Look, I've got to admit that the big drill is a bit better than using the smaller one. Also, I've now found too that this particular clamp fits perfectly between the 2 guides there, so that's a better way to anchor it with just one. And using that bigger drill is great because now I can virtually chamfer on the fly with the other drill without having to swap the drills out. So looks like I will be using the, oh hang on, I will be using the big beast for my dog holds from now on. Only because I find that because I do lift the drill off the jig, it's not a case of having to carry it around with the drill being top heavy, which is what I used to do. Got that, oh yeah, that's right, 1 more hole up the other end. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. That's all it is. Alright, break again.